I'm almost finished this little oil painting, so I thought I would show you the background and why I like doing it after the subject is done. It gives me more freedom to work the edges. I've already painted this edge fairly sharply and it's going to stay sharp. It's kind of leading you right into the center of interest here. So I'm just going to scrub in some color. I've got in mind a neutral sort of background, and it will be darker in some places and lighter in others. But just scrubbing in some paint at the start will give me a little bit of a wet surface to work into. If you've been painting already and your surface is dry and you've got to scrub in, you can always go in with just a touch of linseed oil, scrub it on, and then wipe it off with a cloth. And that will give you the feel of wet paint a little bit. It's easier when you've got the wet paint coming right up to the subject, because then you can work back and forth. You see how that actually created a soft edge. If I wanted that soft edge there, I could leave it. I'll probably want a sharper edge right there, but that's just how the paint tends to go anyway, so it's really easy to create a soft edge. This is just a filbert bristle brush that I use for my scrub-ins. Once I get to the final stuff on the calf, I switch to a soft synthetic brush and a little bit of linseed oil. And I'll use that for the touch-ups too. Getting a little awkward here to work around my camera. I may have to move it at some point. The only way I can film this is to have the camera in between me and the painting, which gets a little problematic. This painting is 6 by 8. And I'm using water-soluble oils. So this is a mixture of burnt sienna and ultramarine blue, which I usually use for my blackish kind of tones. The other colors I've used on the calf are Pyrrole Red and Permanent Yellow Light. And I used a little bit of turquoise blue on his face along with the ultramarine. So now that I've got everything wet underneath, I'll decide where it is I want my darkest colors. Of course, this can all be changed. You can wipe it off, you can move it around. Let's put a little dark color right here. So I've dipped into the linseed oil, and then that will allow me to come right up next to the white paint. And I can create a really sharp edge if I want. I don't want all outlined sharp edges. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to let this ear somewhat disappear. See how that edge just vanishes completely? Having some edges that go away completely are a little more like our eye sees. And it helps the painting look a little more natural. it's time to put a few different colors around. I'm going to use some of the dark over in the edges here just because I want the line that is the edge of the body to disappear a little bit. I don't want the viewer's eye to go abruptly to that line. But I will put a little more dark around this ear. I can make it lighter later if I want, but I'm just going to see how it looks with it a bit more outlined. And I'm going to move the camera so I can get in a little bit closer and get my edges worked a little bit. So you'll get a distorted image from here on in, but I'll show you the finished image when we're done. Okay, let's move that camera.